Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Sabrina Dami joined with Chief Meteorologist Paul Cayano here for your 13 Now update. And Paul, there are some big changes to the forecast for this approaching storm, which I know you and the rest of the weather team, you've all been paying close attention to this for days now.
Yeah, the tricky part about this, Sabrina, has been where exactly the low pressure center was going to be. And there's a lot of factors in meteorology that determine that. And the one thing I'll start by saying is that, and it sounds funny, but it's just miraculous that computer models can forecast a low pressure center south of Long Island, even where it did 5, 7, 8 days in advance, which is what it's been doing. So the fact that it's 20 or 40 miles or 50 miles different than it looked like 3 or 4 days ago, when you think of a planetary scale, that's like this much. But it makes all the difference in the world when it comes to what we're going to get.
So, I mean, that's fascinating when you put it that way. So it looks like there's going to be a big change in terms of how much snow we see, and you're looking at far less than what we were possibly expecting, even just over the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Even 36 hours ago, or even sooner than that, 24 hours ago, it looked like it was going to be a lot more because the storm looked like it was going to take a closer track. I'm going to explain why it's not. But for now, yes, the big story, the headline is that it looks like this one's going to miss us in terms of a big storm. Some of us are going to get some snow, 2-3 inches perhaps in the southern parts of our area. And I'll show you the map also who's going to get what, but not that big, double-digit snowfall for parts of the capital region.
All right, I'll let you take it away, Paulie.
All right, here we go. Outside right now, we always like to start with the current observation, and you can see that it's cloudy and 38 degrees over downtown Albany. Nothing on the first warning live Doppler radar. It's clear. So here comes some of the high thin clouds, the first clouds from that storm. You can see the bright white ones to the south on the map here, and the precip is still way far away. But as we zoom out, there's a lot of things going on here. Look at that batch of showers and thunderstorms down near Atlanta, portions of the southeast. I'm looking at the map with you. The green arrows, the moisture feed from the Gulf and the Atlantic, feeding that storm. And then you have this little storm that's kind of a kicker out near Arkansas. That's to the left. Now, way up near the top, you see Chicago, that storm right there, kind of benign, but it's playing a huge role because that storm, think of it like this. That storm up to the north and the one to the south are two cars approaching a yield sign. And which one's going to go first is ultimately going to determine what we get. So the computer models had been insisting that this southern storm was going to have the right of way, and it would come right up the coast and hit us with a big storm. Instead, now the northern system, the one near Chicago, looks like it's going to want to come through first, or at least kick the southern system far enough away so it can't make a direct hit on us. So it's sort of protecting us from a snowstorm, the one up near Chicago. So we're sort of getting a little bit of a pick, if you will, if you're familiar with the basketball term. So the storm, instead of coming right up the chute and hitting us with a batch of snow, look at the track now, puts us well south of Long Island. And this had been in the cards. It wasn't something that just happened for the first time in the last 24 hours. We've been wrestling with this from back last week. We knew that this was a possibility. It's just that over the weekend, it looked like this storm would come closer and we were looking at more of a certainty for more snow. But now that it looks like it's going to get kicked out to our south more, you can see the northern fringe of the white and light blue colors are just over the Capital District. So if we get anything, it'll probably be on the lighter side, dusting up to a couple of inches of snow in the immediate area. Parts of Greene County, parts of the Berkshires and Taconics should get a bit more. Here's the map. This is the latest we have. We'll continue to update this as new models come in, but I don't see this changing all too much now. For those who must be wondering, hey, why can't it just go the other way? Well, things are getting a little bit tight now in terms of time. So in terms of it changing a whole lot, probably not so much in the cards. But the greater Capital District, the coating up to a couple of inches of snow. You can see Greene County, Columbia County, Berkshire County, mostly 2 to 4. And you have to go farther down the Hudson Valley toward Kingston, Saugerties, Poughkeepsie for the highest amounts of 4 to 8 inches, maybe more in parts of the higher terrain, Litchfield County, Connecticut. So if you are getting in the car this evening, have travel plans down to New York City, there's going to be a mess in the city tonight and tomorrow. They've already taken public schools and put them online for tomorrow in anticipation of this storm. But it looks like they're going to get hit with this one and a miss for us. Still looking at some travel problems for the morning commute tomorrow, Sabrina, only because even if we have some light snow around 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, we could be looking at some slower than usual traffic, even if it doesn't add up to much. The early morning period might be a little bit iffy. I would still check back for some traffic problems and perhaps even some delays.
So this really highlights, Paul. I mean, the models, obviously are such a great tool, and I know you and the team look to them, but this is where, when you really look into dissecting what they're saying, comes into play. The expertise behind it is so important so that we see how much this has changed.
Yeah, and it's so funny that we talk about how much it's changed. It hasn't happened yet. So really, it hasn't changed. This is always
right, because
what was going to happen.
Where is this storm still, you said? It's down by where?
Down in Atlanta. Right. It's down,
so there you
it's
go.
Down in Georgia. Right. So exactly. So the computer models have changed a lot. The storm trajectory is probably always what it was going to be. But it's just that you have these little details that the models still have trouble working out all the time. And yeah, it does take a fine eye to see it. And sometimes we latch on to some things with the models and the models steer us in the wrong direction. In this case, you know what? If it was 10 years ago and we had a 24 to 36 hour forecast that looked like what you see on the screen here, we'd be happy with that. But because we've been talking about this storm for the better part of a week, it's like watching a soap opera. You're riding the wave, the roller coaster with us. Normally, this is what would happen internally, and the viewers wouldn't really get to see our wrestling with the models and the outcomes and the possibilities. But we talk to the viewers, and they tell us, yeah, we want to know that way in advance, what you're looking at, and tell us what you think. And then if there's changes, we get it, that things change. And that's exactly what's happened here.
It's such a good point that this, the era we live in now, you're walking the viewer through it as you are looking at it. So things haven't necessarily changed, as you said. This is the process you would have gone through anyway. You're just keeping the viewers informed along the way.
Absolutely. You got it.
Well, Paul, thank you for keeping us in the loop. You and the rest of the team. Reed, we see you back there. Always working hard. Thank you, Reed.
Got it.
All right. And I know, Paul, more of these models will continue to come out, more updated information, so that we'll get the latest, of course, starting live at 4.
All right, we'll see you then.
All right, Paul. Thank you. Thank you, Reed.
Thank you.
All right, so we have a few stories we'd like to get you updated on. First, we have a breaking update on an unfortunate situation in Rensselaer from over the weekend, and some fresh video that our photographer shot from there today, where we have learned a 69-year-old woman by the name of Linda Ryan was killed while she was crossing the tracks where the Amtrak line just south of the Albany Rensselaer train station. Again, 69 years old, Linda Ryan. Police tell me that she was crossing the tracks. The train engineer saw her, beeped. She tried to move faster. Unfortunately, she tripped and fell. Just a really tragic story. Stella Porter's working on gathering some more details on that for Live at 4 for us, and of course for the rest of our day newscasts. Also, an update on that train derailment that we were following very closely in Rensselaer County in the village of Valley Falls. Both lanes of State Route 67 are now back open. Remember, they were closed for a couple of days after this 10-car train derailment where 2 of the cars actually rolled into the Hoosick River, spilling vegetable oil and plastic pellets. Crews have been working nonstop trying to clear everything up. And at last check, those 2 cars are still in the river. They're working on removing those. And state police right now continue to investigate a crash that where several people were injured. It closed a portion of the Northway overnight. Police say 2 cars were involved. We'll continue to update this for you as well. That's your 13 Now update on this Monday, February 12th. We'll have the latest news and, of course, the latest forecast for you starting live at 4 on News Channel 13. I'm Sabrina Dhami. We'll see you then.